Today we're working on a 1993 Lincoln Town Car. We're going to be doing a water pump today. This is a little trick. This is the motor that has the 4.6 in it. I don't have the tool with me today, so I have to improvise. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take off the alternator. The water pump has a lot of movement in it. The bearings are bad in the water pump. When this happens, this should not happen. This is not normal. So it'll leak water when that happens. So since I don't have my tool, I'm going to have to remove the alternator, which I already removed it. I'm going to remove the alternator. Go ahead and do this now. I just thought this would be a good video to do because a lot of people just don't have that special tool. And if you don't have the tool, you can do it this way at home. You don't have to do any running to the parts store to rent the tool. So, and yes, you can rent that tool. So I pulled the alternator off. It just slides right out, and I laid it over here. So what I'm going to do is you're going to need a pair of vice grips. And that alternator comes out 2 bolts, and it pulls right off. So it's not a real big deal. It'll take you a whole minute or two to get it off. And what I do is I snap the vice grips on the pulley so it won't move, and that way you can get this big nut off the fan. And what I use a pipe wrench because it grips better on the nut. You put it about right there. You take a hammer. If you don't know how to use a hammer or hit something, on target, I wouldn't recommend doing it this way. And you take smack it. You might take 1 or 2 smacks, and it'll break loose. It'll be like that. That means it's loose. And then you just spin the fan off. 1 second. Let me get this belt out of the way. It's kind of getting in the way here. And you just spin it off. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. I got the camera in my hand. So, I hope you understand. Anyway, so now you got that. Now you can release this, your vice grips, and you see the spins. If this is spinning, there's no way you can get that nut off. So you got to keep the pulley in a position. You have to lock it down so you can get the nut off. Okay? So I already got my air hooked up. We're going to go ahead and zip these off real quick. Okay. Always put your bolts in the same position, the same part of the vehicle. Every time you take off a nut, you put it in its position. You don't lay it around and just think, oh, I'll remember. It's always be consistent when you're turning wrenches, so to speak. So now we got that off. The pulley's kind of stuck on the water pump, so I'll pop it. That one was stuck pretty good. And you can get the pulley off of there. You lay the pulley up there with your bolts. Now we'll go ahead and zip off this water pump. That is a 1/2 inch. It is a 1/2 inch. I might be able to do this whole video with one hand. I mean, fix this car with one hand. I'm just kidding. I'm going to have to put down this camera here in a minute if I want to get it done. So I zip all the bolts off. The bolts that hold on the water pump to the motor. It's much easier with air. So we have one. That's the wrong bolt. I just dropped the tool. And once you get the water pump out of there, you can smack that too. Make sure you got all the bolts loose first. And again, all the bolts in its position. And that one's in there. This has never been off the car. This is the first time since 1993 this pump has probably ever been changed. So. Goodness. Usually they just pop right off, so don't let that scare you. And this is the new one.